Welcome to Mommy's Monday Madness. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. This is my review on part 3. Why am I holding up 2 fingers on this? Part 3 of Iyanla's Fix My Life, House of Healing, Fix a Black Man's Heart. So, it opens up, it starts off with, of course, Terrence, right? And his whiny self. So, Terrence is talking, he's having a conversation with Iyanla, and I have to keep looking at my notes, guys. And, she starts off saying that people are naturally resistant to change. So she told him that it's okay. If this is the end of his journey. This is the end of his journey. It's okay with her if he has to leave, that they have a flight for him and a hotel, and that, they will be, the car or the Jeep were going to come and pick him up that evening, and he can be on his way. And she thanked him and she loved him for making it this far, So then there's a moment where Terrence turns off his mic and he tells Iyanla that he wanted to stay. And so she says, well, why did you turn off the mic? And he says, because of my wife. Then he starts going into how he feels like he's a waste of talent and a waste of potential. And she hugs him, and she just tells him, no, he's not. She appreciates him and she thanks him. And then, that was kind of it. And she turned around and walked off, wished him well, and she walked off. And, of course, he kind of stands there kind of looking like, man, I should stay. Like, no one's going to run after me this time. So he calls his wife. And he's telling his wife how he feels like such a loser. And the wife is, she's getting aggravated or whatever. She's like, well, I want to know what this woman said to you that you're feeling like you're worthless. And whoa, his response was, she made me feel like a king. And that totally blew me away. His response to his wife saying that. He did show signs of standing up to his wife, of being, I would say maybe the man of his household. He did show signs of that. They speak a little bit longer, and then the wife says that he's trying to manipulate her because he wants to stay. He's told her that, this has been a good experience for him and he's having a good time. And then he says, but I'm going to keep my promise to you because you want me to come home. Yada, yada, yada. So she's like, you're manipulating me. You're trying to manipulate me. Don't you hear what you're saying? And then he tells her goodnight and he hangs up. And I thought, wow, okay, he's standing up to his wife. So, maybe he has made some changes based on the show and him growing. But one thing I want to say is it's funny to me that the wife is saying that he was manipulating her when she used their kids to manipulate him on the previous episode by saying that their 5-year-old daughter would be just like Lyra and not know her dad, and then kind of saying like he can't come back to their house, So to me, she was using a lot of manipulation as well. So anywho, that's it with him. Goodbye, Terrence, finally. And we go into our new scene. And Iyanla is saying, you can't heal what you won't face, which is very true. And she's talking about not only Terrence, but she's talking about all of the guys. So, they're all in the room again together. And she's talking about pain this time. And she's talking about accountability. And she's talking about not blaming. So what she's doing now at this point is she's going to give them all new labels, and they get a chance to pick new labels out. And of course, just like the previous episodes, they don't know what these labels are going to say. So they're just picking an envelope, and then they are placing that new label on them. And what I really liked is when the men place those new labels on them, you can see them smiling, and they were just really, I don't know what the word would be, but they just seemed to be different, lighter, when they had these positive titles on them versus when the first episode, when they had those negative titles on them. They weren't smiling, they weren't happy. It was just a different feel. The room was just a little bit different. So after that, again, those labels were highlighting their worth. Then Iyanla goes into saying one of the conversations that every man can benefit from would be a conversation with their mother. And in walks a mother. And we're kind of like, whose mom is this? So Kevin turns around and it is his mother. So he says, "Mommy," and he gives her a hug and telling her, that she looks pretty. And they get to talking and they're having, kind of a back and forth. It's not arguing, but you can tell that at some point, Kevin is getting irritated. He's getting upset. And then it comes to surface that the mother had a restraining order against Kevin. And it also comes to surface that the reason why is because she was afraid of him, that he was taking out all of his aggression, and she felt like he was a threat and he was becoming violent towards her, or would become violent towards her and possibly his sister that was living there as well. So we're going to go to, they, make up. He was saying he's apologizing and he's always said sorry, but now this is an apology, yada, yada, yada. We move on. The next scene is the men having to work together. So they're back outside and Iyanla has this huge wall built, and this time they have to again work together to climb this wall within 30 minutes. And they did it, which was awesome. They were super, super excited and they worked well together. So now we're at the final day, and Iyanla has them all sitting down, and she's asking basically, how's their heart? How are they feeling? What's going on at the final day? So the first person, we have Michelangelo. Michelangelo shares that he feels like a new person, a new man, and he can't wait to get out and show the new Michael to everyone else. Then we have Clarence. Clarence says that he feels peaceful within, and he feels worthy and loved, and just, again, like a new man. The third person we have is Kevin. Kevin says he feels aligned. He's aligned with love, and he feels like he's in the right position. He's positioning himself where his life is being positioned for greatness. And fourth person we have would be Tyrone. When Tyrone's part came on, I'm just really hoping that this is all part of editing. Like they were just cutting stuff out, because when Tyrone part came on, he said his heart feels clear. I feel clear. And then the camera switched and went to the next person. And in my mind, I'm still like, dude, how is this the last day and we have not got anything with Tyrone, and we have not gotten really into anything with Michelangelo? Like, these two people, we didn't know anything about them that much, and they have been on not only this these episodes, but they were on the previous episodes with the women, and I was just hoping to learn more about them and try to understand what their backstory was. But it must have been boring, because it seems that they were cut out. Like, we know that they were there, but like my last review, I forgot his name. But anyway, so Tyrone said his heart was clear. And then again, like, it was like crickets. It was like, what? That's it? Your heart is clear? You don't have nothing else to say? Okay. So we moved past Tyrone. The next person that we talked to was Michael Bass. And he said he felt fulfilled and he felt full. He looked full too. But anyway, he felt fulfilled and full. His heart was, happy, after this experience. So that was great. That was really great. The next part was actually my favorite part of all three of these episodes. The favorite part, and Iyanla goes into talking about the ceremonies. Typically, every culture has a ceremony to celebrate boys going into men. No pun intended. But then she says, African Americans, we've given up on that. And I kind of was thinking to myself, I don't know if we really given up on that or we just don't have a ceremony for it. We've never been taught one. We just don't have that. It's just not a part of our culture anymore. Like, I think when you're removed from something for so long, you lose it. You know what I mean? For instance, if you are in a household that speaks a different language, if you stop speaking that language, that other language, then over time, the next generation start to lose that. And that's kind of how it is to me for African Americans as far as our culture outside. I think, we just have the culture here, wherever you're at. If it's the United States or whatever country you're in, that's the culture that we've taken, because our original culture from Africa, it just kind of has gotten lost throughout the generations. And that's just my feeling. But anyways, she said that we've given up on that. So they created a ceremony for the boys going into manhood. And that was so cool to me. Like, they blindfolded the men, and then they had them kind of, following each other, and they had to, they went outside, and, let's see, let me look at my notes. In that ceremony, they still included Terrence, and they had 3 leaders. The 3 leaders that they had was Louis Gossett Jr., which is an actor. I'm sure we're all familiar with him. Then Michael Bernard Beckwith. I've seen him before, and I'm like, I don't know where I've seen him before, but probably on this network. He is the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center. And then Eduardo Reed. I wasn't familiar with him, but he is a spiritual advisor. So before we actually go into the ceremony, guys, can we just take a minute to talk about her clothes this week? Not this week, but this season. This season, Iyanla's stylist stepped it up a notch. Iyanla had this white dress on. So for the ceremony, she had all the guys wear white, but she had on this white dress. It was fitted, and it had black outlining around it, and this lady, I don't know how old Iyanla is, but she has to be late 50s, 60s, early 60s or something like that. And this lady is snatched, baby, okay? She looks so nice in her clothes. And this season, her clothes are just bomb. They're just cute. You know what I mean? Especially for her age. And I know that sounds wrong, but for her age, she looking really nice. They just have her dressed up really nice this season. So kudos to her stylist. They definitely stepped it up this time. Last season, she was dressing kind of like a grandma, kind of. But this season, baby, okay. So that's our time talking about the Iyanla clothing, okay? But yes, she was looking cute. Okay. Back to the episode. So now it's gift time at our ceremony. And boy, oh boy, I'm just oh my gosh. So she's talking, and she's like, Clarence, basically she said, you have a free ride for barbering school. And he looks shocked, right? When she called his name, he kind of was like, and she told him he had a free ride, a complete free ride for barbering school. And dude, he was super stoked. He was excited. I was excited. I don't even know him, but he stood up. He started the wave of thanking everyone. And that's what happened at that point. Everyone took that time to thank Iyanla and each other. And that was very powerful for me. And I don't know if it was because of the music, but something really pulled me in. That moment of them thanking. And not only that moment, the next moment after that, or the next scene after that, they did a naming ceremony. And again, that music and the elders giving all of the men new names. That was a highlight for me, I would say. That was a really good part of the show for me. So then, we kind of just wrapped it up, and they kind of did their little warrior cry at the end. But then, as the show went off, you know how they show the updates. They did the updates, and bruh, for real, I almost threw my remote at the TV at these updates. Let me tell y'all about these updates. The first one that came on is Clarence. Clarence is getting ready to enroll. It's free, Clarence. Look, let me tell you something. Okay, you know what? I don't know what he has to do to prepare. I'm just saying, if it's free, I'll be on it right away. I'm just saying, that's just me. Now, I don't know. It might have only been 2 months when they did the update, so maybe he needed a little bit more time. Lord have mercy. But when I saw these updates, let me tell y'all number 2. Number 2 was Michelangelo. It says he improved his relationship with his kids. So I don't have much to say about that one. That one, I'm not even gonna, that's fine. We're not going to talk about that one. He was kind of irrelevant on the show, as well as number 4, which was Tyrone. Tyrone is not dating. He's planning on enrolling in the police academy. Wonderful. So again, number 2 and number 4, Tyrone and Michelangelo. Yeah. Who do we skip? Number 3. Number 3, Michael Bates. He's spoken with his children and is working on a relationship with them. Great. Great, 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 great. That's wonderful. That's a start. We talked about Tyrone. And then number 5 would be this fool here, Kevin. Kevin moved back in with his mother and his grandmother, and he has picked up his own ways again. He has begun fighting with gang members. His mother has put another restraining order. I darn near lost it. Darn near lost it. All that talking Kevin did during these 3 episodes, and this fool then moved back in with his mom and his grandmother. And then they say at the end that he still has not even seen his children. I can't. And then Terrence says that he has talked and texted his daughter almost every day, but they still haven't seen each other. God darn it, these updates, I would have preferred if they just would have not even put the updates. I'm sorry. I just feel like, man, was these episodes just a waste of time? Was it almost like what my husband said when he's like, I don't want to watch that. That stuff seems phony. It almost felt that way. So you guys let me know what you think. Drop your comments below. Subscribe, like. Let's get this conversation going. I am going to continue doing my reviews with Fix My Life, with Iyanla. I might pick up another show as well to do some reviews on. If you have any suggestions, again, drop a comment below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and have a wonderful week.